2020, what a year. Our world has been impacted by major events over the years that remain unforgettable and have changed the course of our lives. From Ebola to Zika virus, bird flu, 9/11, but never have we experienced anything like the year 2020. 2020, what a time to be alive. Remember when we all gave a toast to the year to come, back then at 2019 New Year's Eve? Yeah, good times. But if only we knew what was in store for us. The Australian bushfire, Hong Kong protest, death of Kobe Bryant, Black Lives Matter, End SARS, and many more. 2020 has been unspeakably demanding on all of us, from millions of people losing their source of income to adjusting our entire way of life. In 2015, at a TED conference in Vancouver, Bill Gates, while sharing his thoughts on the Ebola crisis, emphasized that we are not ready for the next outbreak. He said, "The world is simply not prepared to deal with a disease, especially a virulent flu, for example, that infects large numbers of people very quickly. Of all the things that could kill 10 million people or more, by far the most likely is an epidemic." Here we are 5 years later. I can only imagine the smug "I told you so" look on his face. But seriously, it's been challenging. It might be easy to joke about all of this, but think about those who have been affected. Some lost their families, their friends, some lost their only means of livelihood. And it's kind of a bummer when you sit down to think about how everything has gone down so far. 2020 has been a roller coaster of despair, and if it were to be a movie, it would most likely be a tragedy. But 2020 wasn't all bad. As gloom as this talk may seem, just rubbing salt on the wounds of many, stating what we've already seen so far, 2020 was not wasted. Think about this. We've adopted new ways of interacting that we would have never dreamed possible. We have shown that if people decide enough is enough, we can make a difference through a movement. We've shown that no matter how limited something may be, with human ingenuity and faith, we can overcome any obstacle. 5 months ago, we were still worried about how we would return to our jobs and our roles in society. But fast forward to now, everything is online, saving us resources, time, energy, and some companies have even decided that this online workspace has maximized the potential of many of its workers. I know that as a student, I've been able to explore millions of new possibilities and new skills. For instance, I picked up juggling, finally hit that 100 words per minute typing goal, and ran an online programming class with over 27,000 students joining on YouTube. Before you start sulking about how this year was wasted, focus on the things you have achieved, the things you were able to do. Never regret anything that at some point made you smile. Mark Twain once said something along those lines. According to Dispatch.com, in 2020 alone, we've had people around the world brushing up on their sewing skills, making masks for people who need them the most, reviving our humanity. Sure, we might have gained a little weight, but we've rediscovered our love for old hobbies like baking and gardening, teaching kids skills that we all said we don't have time to show them. We learned that homeschooling is hard and finally recognized teachers as the heroes they really are. We finally had time to take up those weekly walks we've always dreamed of to feel healthier. You don't have to take my word for it. You can do the math yourself and count all the blessings you've had this year and watch how that frown on your face turns upside down. But at the end, it's all up to you to make out what you think of this year. Thank you.